So I've been hearing a lot of talk about dragons, about what happens to them after they die. Where do they go? Are they like any other soul? Do they go before the Arbiter? Do they have their own realm in the Shadowlands? And then, what about the aspects? Surely they're of great importance, so they would obviously end up in Ardenweald, right? Right? Well, today we will answer all of those questions to the best of our ability. Today we ask, where do dragons go when they die? Now, something you might have noticed in the Shadowlands, there are no dragons. To our knowledge, there are none in Bastion, none in Revendreth, none in Maldraxxus. The one being used as a pit fighter does not count, and only one dragon in Ardenweald. Immediately, because of the lack of dragons in any dimension but Ardenweald, you'd assume that they would just go there after their death. And it makes sense. Dragons, the aspects specifically, are important figures. Important figures obviously end up in Ardenweald to one day return to life. And while you can assume this is the case, you must be aware that there are many discrepancies about this take. Like, for one, many a dragon have died over the span of Warcraft lore, but none have returned. Not in the Ardenweald sense, anyways. Now you can argue that, given what we know, maybe they stayed in Ardenweald. Maybe they served the Winter Queen, nurturing groves, healing others, and protecting the Weald. I mean, maybe, but no. The only dragon in Ardenweald, as far as we are aware, is Ysera, and Ysera is not some regular dragon. She is, well, was, an aspect, one directly blessed by Elune. She is important. She deserves Ardenweald, but we have to ask ourselves something in relation to Ysera's death. When Elune intervened in Ysera's fate, obviously it was to keep her out of the Maw, but was Ysera's arrival in Ardenweald natural? Let's say if the Arbiter had not been placed in a slumber, would Ysera have been chosen for Ardenweald and that's why Elune placed her there, or did Elune place her there at her own whim? Depending on your answer, this question opens up so many different scenarios. If she was to go to Ardenweald, there should answer where dragons, or at least the aspects, go when they die. But if she was placed in Ardenweald by Elune's hand, regardless of what the Arbiter would have judged, then dragons, aspect or not, don't go to Ardenweald. Truth be told, I lean toward option 2 as the best answer. Ysera being placed there unnaturally speaks to how there are no other dragons anywhere to be seen in the zone. And the fact that another aspect, Neltharion, is also nowhere to be seen, it just further proves the point. Although Deathwing is a special case, considering he was completely overtaken by the Void and his fate would be different, but that's a topic for another time. But what this should all mean to you is that dragons go elsewhere. They are not naturally bound to any of the realms we can go to. So back to the question of the day, where do they go? If not Ardenweald, if not Bastion, Revendreth, or Maldraxxus, then where? Well, as we know, the Shadowlands is not just the 4 realms available for us to explore. There are hundreds of thousands of different possible afterlives, all dependent on who you are, what you did, and the way you lived. And because of this, I can only assume that, just maybe, the dragons have their own realm. Maybe a place like the Dragon Isles serves as their own destination. For those who don't know, the Dragon Isles was a scrapped concept during WoW's early development. However, it recently made its first canonized return when it is mentioned that Wrathion, the Black Prince, is currently in search of the mythical uncharted land, but those of his kin, his fellow dragons, are not so keen on sharing that information. Maybe the Dragon Isles are uncharted, maybe they have remained undiscovered because they exist outside of reality. Maybe the Dragon Isles is the afterlife of the dragons. Maybe there, dragons simply rest and do not return to life. Maybe this is the reason as to why Ysera was ordained to Ardenweald and not there. Elune knows, cycle broken or not, that all dragons go to the Isles, so bending the rules of death was required for, insert insert lore reason here. Who knows, maybe the dragons of now and yore go to the Emerald Dream, having more of a connection with Elune than any other. But also, maybe the Dragon Isles borders both the Shadowlands and the Dream, and Ysera, now having access to both, is the key between realms. Who knows? Honestly, your guess is as good as mine, which I would love to hear about, as well as any and all questions or comments about this video, Warcraft, or its lore, in the comment section down below, and I'll be sure to read each and every one of them. Thanks for watching.